What's up, everybody? It's your girl Pervy Lolli. Today I'm going to share with you my current top 5 favorite BL series. Now this list can change depending on the current BLs that are coming out, but my top 3 have stayed the same for a while now. Who knows, maybe one day that will change. There will be spoilers throughout this video, so just a heads up in case you come across a series that you did not see yet. So let's get started. So let's start with number 5, EN of Love, Love Mechanics. Although this is a new BL series, it still made it to my top 5 favorites. Love Mechanics is the second part of the EN of Love mini-series. Each part focuses on a different couple. Love Mechanics is all about Mark and V. Mark and V's relationship starts out at a nightclub. Mark is drunk and he's sad that he was rejected by Bar. Bar is from the first part of the EN of Love series. Mark is completely drunk, and when he bumps into V, he mistakes V for Bar and tells him that he wants to sleep with him. V tries to tell Mark no and that he has the wrong person, but Mark doesn't listen, or at that point he doesn't care and continues to ask V to sleep with him again. V says okay and they sleep together, and that's how the series began. Not on a good note. I don't like the idea of taking advantage of someone who is drunk, but the rest of the plot gets a lot better. I really love Mark and V's storyline versus Bar and Tosakan. This story had so many emotions tied to it, and the actors portrayed their roles beautifully. They were able to tell a full story with only 4 episodes. This was not your typical BL where the two main characters who sleep together automatically end up together. What really made me love this series is how Mark acted. Mark had his heart broken and he did not want to go through that again. He definitely was not okay with V cheating on his girlfriend to be with him, and he was not okay with being used by V just for fun. Mark was very strong in this series, and he knew what he wanted and he knew what he was worth. V kept chasing after Mark, but Mark didn't make it easy for him, especially when V kept on messing up throughout the time he was trying to go after Mark. Love Mechanics was so much better than EN of Love, Tosara, which to me was a hot, cringy mess. Even though Love Mechanic was a mini-series, I would not mind watching it again. Coming in at number 4 is History, Right or Wrong. This series is part of the history dramas and it has 8 episodes. This story is about Shiiji, a divorced single man who is an associate professor of the Department of Anthropology. He has a 7-year-old daughter named Yo-Yo and he's raising her alone. One day, Fei Shenji bumps into Yo-Yo, who asks him for help when she thought she was being followed by a strange man. Fei Shenji takes Yo-Yo back home only to discover that her house is a mess and her dad was sleeping on the floor at home. Yo-Yo's dad asks Fei Shenji to be Yo-Yo's nanny and he agrees. A few days later, Fei Shenji finds out that Yo-Yo's dad, Shiiji, is also his college professor. I absolutely love this series. Yo-Yo is super funny and straightforward. The main characters each had a hard past and they are learning to focus on the future. This series shows the ups and downs of being in a same-sex relationship with an age gap. It also shows the dynamics of a same-sex relationship when a child is involved and how the professor, Shiiji, handles falling in love with a guy for the first time. Yo-Yo wants everyone to be happy, and the poor girl was stressing herself so much that she ended up in the hospital. I love that Shiiji asked Fei Shenji's mom if he could officially date her son, and I love how protective she was over her son and worried about him getting his heart broken, and she made sure that Shiiji had the right intention. She's accepting of her son's orientation and just wants what's best for him. This is definitely a series worth watching, and I even watched it more than once since I love it so much. Coming in at number 3 is Theory of Love. Even though this BL is pretty new, it came out in 2019, just like Love Mechanics, it still made it to my top list. Theory of Love is about Third and his best friends, Tu, Bone, and Kai. Third has a major crush on Kai and has been secretly in love with him for 3 years. Kai is a huge playboy and he's always seen dating many different girls. Kai is also straight and has a no dating friends policy. Third is tired of getting his heart broken every time he sees Kai with a new girl, so he tries to confess his feelings. things don't go as planned because one, Kai is straight, and two, he doesn't even realize that Third was confessing his feelings to him. By the time Kai finally realizes that Third has feelings for him and that he also has feelings for Third, it's too late. Third starts to keep his distance from Kai because he's tired of being heartbroken and doesn't want to be hurt again. This series is one of my favorites because it's my favorite ship of Off and Gun. Also, the acting in this series is amazing. You can feel the pain that all the main characters go through and see how each of them experience their own heartbreak. All four characters have their own love issues that they go through, and not everyone gets a happy ending. We see that it's easy to fall in love with someone, but it's even harder to fall out of love and to see them with someone other than you. Third doesn't easily go to Kai when Kai starts to act nice and confess his feelings to him. Third makes Kai work for it and make him realize how hard it was for him to be secretly in love with Kai for all these years. The side stories of the other two best friends of Third and Kai focus more on what it's like to be in a love triangle. I love the pairing of Earth and White at the end, but I wish they had more screen time once they got together. I still can't get over how dramatic Third gets every time he runs to the shower to have a crying moment. But as you keep watching each episode, you start to feel his pain. This series is worth the watch if you haven't seen it yet. Coming in at number 2 is Lovesick, the series. This is the first BL series that I watched, and it started me on my BL journey, so this series is very personal and sacred to me. After watching the first episode, I almost didn't continue with the series because they introduced all the main characters and the side characters all at once, but I'm glad I stuck with it. Lovesick is about Poon and No. Poon has a girlfriend and his dad is trying to get him to date someone else. Instead of telling his dad that he's already dating, Poon decides to pretend that he has a boyfriend. The reason behind this is because Poon's sister, Pang, is a fujoshi and she's into BL. Poon's dad adores Pang and he will listen to anything she says. So, Poon is hoping that his sister can convince their dad that Poon has a boyfriend and can't date the girl that his dad chose. No is the head of the music club at school and he needs a higher budget for his instrument. He runs to Poon, who is the treasury, and asks him for a budget increase. And Poon says he'll do it, but only if No pretends to be his boyfriend. Eventually, while the two are pretending to be boyfriends, real feelings develop between them. The storyline between Poon and No is just like one of the many storylines that we have with this series, but I'm going to focus on the BL portion because that's the main story, and trust me, it's already a lot to follow. This BL was the first time we got to see a lot of the GMMTV actors that we know and love. Actors like White, Captain, Gurn, Samantha, Top Tap, Sing, and Pinare and Gunsmile have all been in Lovesick the series. No and Pun both have girlfriends and they have to deal with the ups and downs of a relationship while figuring out their new feelings for each other. This is also the longest BL that I've watched. In total, Lovesick the series has 48 episodes, 12 from season 1 and 36 from season 2. There is also a spin-off called Reminders that shows Pun and No while they are at university, but it's very short with only 3 episodes. I really miss all the characters from Lovesick and I wish there was a season 3. Now, before I get to my number 1 favorite BL series, I want to include an honorable mention. This BL hasn't officially made it to my top 5 list yet, but I have a feeling that it will soon. Currently at number 6 is Game Boys. I absolutely love this series and the actors. Game Boys is about Cairo and Gabrielle who met while Cairo was live streaming a game competition. Gabrielle won and told Cairo that he thinks he's cute and has a crush on him. Cairo thinks he's joking and calls him a pervert and disconnects their chat. Cairo tells Gav that they should have a rematch so that he can prove to Gav that he only got lucky the first time, and Gabrielle agrees but only on one condition. Gabrielle tells Cairo that he wants to date him and that he's very serious about it. Cairo agrees and the rest is history. This BL is from the Philippines and it's filmed mainly through Zoom because of the pandemic. The storyline also focuses on how everyone is handling being in quarantine or having a family member who is sick with the virus. There are also many emotions that the actors were able to portray, even though they were filming this from their home. This series covered many important topics from death, love, heartbreak, acceptance, all while showing how Gabrielle and Cairo are falling for each other. I love that they have a strong female friend who encourages the couple and supports their love. Compared to many BL series where the female character is usually represented as a shipwrecker, I love that Pearl is a strong lead. I heard that she will also have her own spin-off, which will be a girl love series talking about her own storyline and how she finds her own love. I'm really looking forward to the remaining episodes of Game Boys. This series was originally set to have 8 episodes, but then they added 2 more to make it 10. However, since this series is so popular, 3 more episodes were again added for a total of 13. I don't think fans want Game Boys to end and they just keep adding more and more episodes. Trust me, I don't mind at all. They can keep on adding more. Now, my number 1 favorite BL series is Sotis. Artit is a 3rd-year engineering major and head hazer. He often abuses his power, and freshman students were powerless against him. That is, until Kompop came in and stood up against him. They start off constantly butting heads and arguing with each other, then they slowly become something more. The storyline and acting in this series is just amazing. Just from the facial expression of the actors, you can see how the characters felt. The character development from the beginning to the end shows how Kompop and Artit matured and how their feelings grew. This series was mainly focused on the hazing and the university life. Compared to most BL, if you watch this without spoilers, you wouldn't even realize it was a BL series in the first place, since it's very subtle till the middle, almost the end of the first season. It's very rare that I would watch a BL and find very little to almost nothing bad to critique about it. The only thing that I didn't like about Sotis was the development of the side characters. I felt that they were a bit bland compared to the rest of the cast and that they had more to offer, but we didn't get to see it. In Sotis S, I really didn't like the character Day. That was the only thing from the second season that I didn't like. I found that the whole storyline between Tu and Day so annoying that it almost ruined Sotis S for me. I know some people were cheering for them to be a couple, but honestly, I don't see why. To me, the second season would have been fine without them. Watching Sinto and Chris act together is just amazing. They work really well together, and all the little unscripted moments between them felt so natural. It almost feels like you're watching a real relationship when they are on screen together. Sotis and Sotis S has stayed at the top of my favorite BL list for a while now, always at number 1. I am looking forward to the day when there's a BL series that can take that spot. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section below what are your top favorite BL series. This was a request from April Snow and Izzy SCV. They left a comment on my answering your comment video and I answered. Yes, I do read your comments and I try to answer back as many as I can. So let me know of any other videos that you guys want to see. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. I cannot believe that we're at 1,000 subscribers. I didn't think that we would get this far, so thank you to everyone who subscribed, liked, commented, and shared my video. I am beyond grateful. Until next time, my lovely lollipops, bye-bye.